Hey, what's going on? I want to say a special hello to all my many friends, also to my many enemies. Once again, one more time, this is another episode of Roosevelt Sounds Off, and this is Roosevelt Sounds Off Part 51. And on tonight, I'm going to be exploring a topic that I put together, basically dealing with a whole lot of stuff that people, or especially us as black people, go through. I want to explore the lie that many people, especially white people, even black conservatives like Larry Elder or Condoleezza Rice or Ward Connolly, try to tell black people that racism in this country doesn't matter anymore, and that slavery in this country doesn't matter anymore. And they basically always try to say that we don't have anything to complain about because we are free. I'm going to explore why that is an absolute lie. And I'm going to show you, by the time I'm done with this video, you will see that even though we're not in slavery, even though a whole lot of you all out there might not even be in jail, but we are not free. We're still enslaved and still in bondage. So tonight's message is going to be entitled The Illusion of Freedom. The illusion of freedom. Okay, so right now I'm going to have my reader read the definition of what an illusion is, so you all can get a full understanding as to what we're dealing with when we deal with this word, illusion.
An illusion is a thing that is or is likely to be wrongly perceived or interpreted by the senses.
See? That means something that could be wrongly perceived. In other words, a lie. Let's just make it plain and clear. We're dealing with the illusion of freedom. Even though slavery ended back in 1865 and Jim Crow ended back in the 60s or 70s, we are still, as a people, are not free. We're talking about the illusion of freedom. Even though you might not be physically actually in jail or behind bars or in a slave plantation, you are not free. It's the illusion of freedom. I'm going to explain how come that you're not free. Even though you are not in jail, basically you're not free because you have to deal with a whole lot of mess in everyday American life. Now, you're probably asking me, Roosevelt, what exactly do you mean by that? Oh, I'm glad you asked. What I mean by that is, even if you're working a job every single day, it's a form of slavery. Because if you don't work and don't bring home the money, then you could be put out on the street, or stand a chance of being put out on the street, or the lights are going to get turned off, the gas is going to get turned off, they're going to come and repossess your car. This is how come millions of Americans work jobs every single day that they absolutely hate. Because they know that if you don't work, then something is not going to get done. Something is not going to get paid. It's millions of people every single day who go on jobs and just take anything off of bosses and co-workers just so they can stay employed, just so they can have a way to pay their bills. Case in point, I have a very good friend of mine, and she works for a certain company that shall remain nameless in downtown Chicago. And I guess she's been working there for like 1-2 years or something like that. And there's this guy on the job who called himself flirting with her. And it's almost like has turned into an obsession. He's always over in her section, always trying to talk to her, always trying to do this, always trying to do that. Even went as far as cutting the straps on her purse that was given to her as a gift by her nephew. And it seems like no matter what she says against this guy, that the bosses are not taking action against him, the other employees aren't saying anything. It seems like this guy, whoever he is, has some kind of a power or something, and people are afraid of him. And she tells me all the time that she feels like she has to suffer in silence, because if she were to say anything, she, possibly stands a chance on losing her job. And, she has her nephews to take care of. She has rent to pay and she has bills to pay. So it's like she's a slave because she is forced to put up with whatever this guy is putting down, all just because she could stay employed. So she is a slave. And when I talk about slave, it's not only the job or anything like that. I mean, when I talk about slavery is the American system. We are all slaves to the American system, whether it's working every day. Even doing something as simple as buying a home is a form of slavery, because as soon as you buy a home, what do? They trap you in with all of these, mortgages and depending on like the rate of a mortgage or something, they keep you locked in for 30 years, paying like a 30-year mortgage. You cannot move or do anything for 30 years. It's slavery. Especially if you get loans and everything from a bank, even trying to buy a car and pay for a car. It's all slavery, depending on what kind of rate and everything that you get, the financing and everything. And it's so much money just to make it. It's so much money just to keep it up. Me and my mother were even talking tonight, and even doing something as simple as owning or buying a cell phone these days is slavery. Because for many of you all who don't know, my mother is completely blind, and she had an iPhone at first because, I have an Android and everything myself, but my mother chose to get an iPhone because it's the best kind of phone that visually impaired people, can use, and it's, visually impaired friendly. But after a while, she found that it was very hard to use this phone. So what she did today was to go and just get an ordinary, flip phone. That's old school, because a whole lot of us have moved on to smartphones. I mean, golly, how long has it been since you've seen a flip phone? Very long time. So she moved on to get her a flip phone. And she said they got her paying over $200 just for this flip phone, because this phone, for what I believe she said was so $160, and then activation plan or something is so much, like $40 to activate it. On top of that and everything, her $50 bill a month, she was paying close to $300 by the time it's all over. She told me that they're robbing us without a gun. It is the system that's just got us enslaved. And I'm even going to do something else. I'm going to tie in this upcoming 2016 presidential election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Basically, in between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, it's basically the same person. Democrat, Republican, Independent. People always want to act like it's so different. But in reality, it's really not. It's all the same system, because sometimes Democrats and Republicans, they fight and argue with each other over issues, and then after that, they're going out together and going playing golf. They're not going to go against each other in the end at all, because it is all the system. So, I mean, the country, when it comes down to elections, gives you two candidates, and you're supposed to choose between lesser of the two evils. Because both of them are evil, no doubt. But you're choosing in between the lesser of the two evils. But if you're a Christian, you're not supposed to choose evil at all. So in this election, I'm going to still vote, but I'm going to leave the presidential part blank. Or either I'm going to write in a candidate or choose a third-party candidate, because these two, in between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, all of the stuff that Donald Trump is saying, all of the stuff that Donald Trump is doing, he's going to have us further enslaved than what we are already. And even all the stuff that Hillary Clinton is doing and has done. what her husband has done. He is the reason how come we have thousands of black men in prison right now thanks to the 3 strikes you're out law. He is the one who brought in welfare reform. The Clintons don't care anything about black people. So I think that Hillary Clinton is just as racist, if not more, than Donald Trump. And I have a whole lot of people saying, at least a whole lot of, ignorant, slow-minded, stupid black people saying, well, you should go and vote for Hillary, just vote period and everything, because our ancestors died and everything, so, we could have the right to vote, blah, 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 whatever. I'm going to explain right now how come black people, is 3 things, the reason why black people do a lot of things that they do. 3 things. Either it could be, it's 3 things. It's either, number 1, tradition. Number 2, fear. And number 3, emotion. I'm going to break these down right now. Tradition means that you should go and vote no matter if either candidate is any good, no matter if they're not going to work for your benefit or whatever, because, this is what we always should do. Our ancestors died so we could be able to vote. Fear would be that a whole lot of people, they want to go and vote for Hillary Clinton because they're scared to get Donald Trump in there, because I even heard one pastor say, the woman, Hillary Clinton, we don't know if we trust, but Donald Trump, we know we don't trust at all. So it's a fear factor there. Or either emotion. A whole lot of stupid, silly women is getting all excited because it's possible that Hillary Clinton could be the first woman in the White House. That's all that they're looking at. Oh man, Hillary's gonna be the first woman in the White House. Oh, she's gonna be the first woman in the White House. Oh man, it's gonna take a woman to bring these changes. Oh yeah, whoopsie-doo. Hogwash. Crap. Emotion. Just like women are emotional. These are 3 reasons how come black people do a whole lot of the stuff that they do. They don't do any research on these people's records. Things that they have said, things that they have done. They just choose lesser of the 2 evils, either out of fear, emotion, or tradition. That's all it is. I've done some of my research about Hillary Clinton. I saw how she even went into a church and made fun of black people. Gotten in a pulpit talking about or trying to imitate a pastor. Oh, I don't feel no ways tired. Look it up on the internet. Look that up on YouTube and see what you find that video. And even I found some other things. It's kind of complicated to explain right here in this video, but I'm probably going to get to it later. How the Clinton Foundation, which is owned by her and her husband, has done some bogus things in the nation of Haiti. You have to do your research and not just vote for somebody all because they're a woman or even all because they're black. And I wouldn't vote for her all because if Obama could not get in office and say that he's for black people, because if he just said that he was only for black people and supporting black people, Obama never would have stood a chance in where of getting in the White House. But she can come along and say that she's only for women's rights, and everybody's supposed to be so happy and supposed to be voting for this woman all because she says that she's for female rights only. I'm a black man here in this country right now. That's the main thing I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about no female rights. Being a black man in this country is not easy. So that's what I got to be concerned about. That's what I have to look out for myself. Golly. That's hard enough as it is. And plus you got to ask yourself, since it's not always the candidates, that it is the system that we are under. just because you get Hillary Clinton in over Donald Trump, will things actually change? I believe the answer would be no. And I'm going to explain. Because I've never spoken anything about this before, and I want to also say, all due respect to our current president and our friend and brother, President Barack Obama. But in a whole lot of ways, I do disagree with a whole lot of his policies that he has had in the 8 years that he has been in the White House. It seems like that he has not supported, of course, any kind of black issues at all. It seems like he supported, more issues for, passing marriage bills and equal rights bills for, gays and lesbians and transgendered or the LGBT community. He has been pro-abortion and even wanted to lower the age of sexual consent in most states from 18 down to 12 or 13. And I disagree with these kind of policies. And it is 2016. And black men are still being gunned down by the police. There is still rampant homelessness. There is still miseducation. There are still bad and failing schools. So when you deal with the system, or I'm dealing with the system or talking about the system, if you really think about it, nothing has changed at all in between 2008, when he first started his term, and now. Every single thing is the same, if not worse. Nothing has changed. And ever since he has been in office, we have seen an uptick of police shootings. In other words, white men or white officers shooting black people. I mean, look at the Michael Brown case. Look at the Rekia Boyd case. Look at the Alton Sterling case now. Look at the Philando Castile case. Look at the Sandra Bland case. Look at Trayvon Martin. This has grown far bigger since Obama has been in the White House. So things, or racism in this country, because of the system, has not changed. It is just the same. But I believe that if Trump gets in the office, maybe racism would be worse, because some of the stuff that Trump says has made white people far much more bold in saying how they really feel in the first place about blacks. I mean, even in the open, and completely getting away with it, because he tells them that they can act this way. And he wants to take control of the country, talking about, putting Muslim Americans and, just Muslim immigrants in detention camps and stopping people from Islamic nations from immigrating to this country, talking about building a 10 or 15 foot wall at the United States-Mexico border, all kinds of stuff. And the thing is, I mean, white people have always, to a point, been prejudiced or racist or something too. But it seems like their racism is showing now, because they get more bold at being able to say a whole lot of these things, all because of the spirit that is in the land, because Trump is running for office. It's a bad spirit that is in the land right now. But I don't know, but people sometimes say that if you look at the book of Revelations, this time was prophesied to come, because it did say whenever you see, nation against nation or kingdom against kingdom, that means race against race or anything like that. And, you begin to see wars and rumors of wars, then know that it is almost the last time and the beginning of sorrows. And no matter how much they try to tell us that we are free, as long as you're working a job and you have this boss over you doing all kinds of things towards you, like my friend having a coworker sexually harass you. And the worst part about it is HR is not doing anything about it. They're not trying to help the situation. They're not trying to help the problem. You know, we're all slaves. We're all screwed up because we are not free. So we almost have just as much in common as a person who's locked up, because, you know, we're out here and a whole lot of people, you know, we work in these jobs every single day, and, you know, even according to some of our laws, we're still enslaved. And we might, just because we're out here walking around and not locked up, we think that we're free, which is, you know, somebody else who's in jail, then you completely know that you're not free. But no, we are not free. Even our laws, in the way that they construct and, you know, put the laws together or orchestrate the laws here in this country, are slavery, because all of the laws, even with minor crimes, are getting more serious and more serious, and penalties are more serious. Why? Because the country wants to feed the evil, ungodly prison industrial complex. People like Michael Jordan and some of these other people get paid money off of the prison industrial complex, because it's someplace in the Constitution, and maybe I can't recite it verbatim, but it's something like where it says that, it says in the Constitution, it tells this lie too, that slavery is over. They said the only time that you are a slave or can be considered a slave under indentured servitude is if you're convicted of a crime. Meaning that if you're in jail or you have been swallowed up by the American criminal justice system, that as long as you're in prison or in jail in some form of court supervision, you are still not free. You're considered to be a slave. Because when you're in prison, I mean, you do these jobs that they have you do every single day. You might make like 20-30 cents a day, you know, if that much. Because they know that they couldn't get people outside, you know, to do these kind of jobs. So they send the work to prisons. And so prisoners do stuff like make woodwork, or, you know, make clothes and everything, and make shoes, and they do all kinds of other types of jobs. And they send these supplies out and they sell them for more money. And so the companies are getting rich off of slave labor that is done by prisoners. I mean, even when they make glasses, because, you know, I'm supposed to wear glasses, but I just don't always do it. But, you know, I'm on a special program with the Illinois Eye Institute. And sometimes whenever I order glasses, my glasses could take so long to get to me, because I guess they have so many orders, because I found out where the glasses come from. When the glasses are made, I found out that they are actually made and constructed by prisoners in downstate Illinois. So companies are getting rich off of the misfortune and downfall of Black and Latin men who are in prison. Michael Jordan is getting rich off of people, or off of, you know, the industrial prison complex. To me, somebody like that is completely like sold out, a sellout. So no, a whole lot of the stuff that Larry Elder says, Condoleezza Rice says, Ward Connolly, and, you know, you even have idiots like Sheriff Clark, or David Clark, who's the sheriff of Milwaukee County, you know, blaming single mothers for the ills of society. No, it's all the system that's just got every single body messed up. So it is an illusion that they are trying to tell us when they try to tell us that we are free. But no, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to inform you on this evening in 2016 that no, you are not free. It's the illusion of freedom. And with that, I'm going to end this video. If you liked anything I had to say, be sure to give me a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will see every single body on the next one. Peace and blessings to all.